Well, good evening, everybody. Well, you may be watching this in the morning. I'm not 100% sure, but regardless, this is the 2008 Phillies Super Advanced as played Stratomatic Baseball Replay. Um, I don't expect to be seeing anybody in the chat room here because I am recording this unlisted. I wanted to do this sort of in private, and then I will release it a little later. So you will see this. Well, I mean, you'll be seeing this and you won't know the difference, but um, this is partly for time. We will have more live streams, never fear. That's one thing we will do, but for now, at least for this game, I wanted to jet through it and just work my way through this game without having to be distracted in my own mind. Even if I'm saying I'm not looking at the chat, sometimes I do. So in this way, I'll just be able to focus on the game, get the calls right, and get this thing done. So okay, we are in single digits, folks. We are down to the final 9 games of this replay. It has been 11 plus months now since I started this replay. I believe it was in late March of 2017 that we got rolling, and it will be early March of 2018 we get finished. So it's been a good haul. It's been some ups, a couple downs. Right now, the Phillies are tied with the or not with the Marlins, with the Braves. The Braves, they just took 2 of 3 at Turner Field down in Atlanta. And so they moved south here to South Florida, Dolphin Stadium. Series against the Marlins. The Marlins, I think, actually do a pretty good job against them in real life in this series. First game, they are victorious 14-8. The Marlins are. So you'll see a young Cameron Maybin in this game. He gets to start in center, and he averages 500 for the games that he plays in this very short part of the season. So his card is pretty sweet, and it's not gonna be easy. Gotta hope for Brett Myers to get the rolls go his way, I think, in this game, because this could get to be a little bit of a bloodbath. But we'll see. Josh Johnson on the mound for the Marlins. His card, I mean, he was a pretty good pitcher back that year. He might have gotten hurt early in the season. Only 14 starts, 7-1, 361. And we'll try to get everything. There we go. And we will be off shortly. Imagine palm trees, probably a little bit on the warm side. Although it is getting to September, hurricane season, in fact, but the weather is probably acceptable here. We're going to get this game in tonight. I'm not sure how to do the dice, so I picked black and white. There's plenty of black, there's plenty of white in the Marlins logo, and then some green. It's sort of a turquoise, almost like the Dolphins, or teal. I guess teal probably more like it, and I don't have teal dice, so it's either blue or green. We'll just go with green. And so what I've been doing lately, I have a bag of dice. I'll show you the bag of dice, and I have an assorted number of different colored D6s. And I try to pick the ones that are farthest away from the top. I shake them up, and I just grab 2 that seem to want to hide, and we'll see how that works. But okay, so Florida, Pitchers Park. Let me get this hooked in under the clip. And we are just about into the final stretch, literally the home stretch. Feeling better and better as we get closer and closer. I will give you an update on the score of the Braves game. They are taking on the Mets. And I will give you an update on that a little later. So let's roll this off for the weather. 19, so it's going to be bad weather. 5s on the singles. 4s on the home runs. So Dolphin Stadium, a bit of a cavern. All right, so Josh Johnson, right-hander, will be going up against Brett Myers, another right-hander. And the lineup for the Phillies: Jimmy Rollins at short, your leadoff hitter, typical leadoff hitter for the Phillies. You got Chase Utley at second base. He's been on a streak here of riding out second in the lineup, and then Worth third, and they kind of flip if they're up against a lefty, seems. And he'll be in right, Worth batting third. Howard cleanup at first base. Burrell left field. Victorino in center. Shane Victorino. Greg Dobbs getting a start at third against the tough righty. Chris Coast catching, and Brett Myers on the mound. Ruiz started every game in Atlanta, so they're giving him a little break, and Rollins will be the first to go. Game 1 of this final series of the season between these two teams. Florida still within reach, 3.5 back of the Phillies at the start of the day. Phillies and the Braves tied in first in the NL East, and here we go. 5-8 batting from the left, and he gets Rollins to strike out for out number 1. Underway here at Dolphin Stadium. Chase Utley. And there's a 2-3 against a righty, and that's a grounder to Alfredo Amizaga, and Amizaga throws to first to Jacobs for the out. 2 outs. Jason Worth. And a 1-9 strikeout. 2 out of 3 struck out for Josh Johnson, and we'll go to the bottom of the first with no score. Marlins coming to bat, and I'll show you Mabin's card. Cameron Mabin leads off, and you can see against righties, he is very good. Although he does have weak power, so that's one positive. He's not going to crank out too many home runs. So he'll lead off in center field. John Baker, the catcher, bats second. Jorge Cantu at third base will bat third. Fourth batter will be Mike Jacobs at first. Dan Uggla at second, batting fifth. Left fielder Luis Gonzalez will bat sixth. Seventh batter Cody Ross in right. Alfredo Amizaga, as I said before, at short, and Josh Johnson with his running speed of 10 will be the final batter against Brett Myers, who has had his share of struggles. Here is Mabin, 4-9 righty, and that's a fly ball to right, and he'll get him out the first time here. Out number 1. And it'll now be John Baker, the lefty. 5-6, and he strikes out. Misses the 5-5, which is a home run. Normal home run split there. And here is Jorge Cantu with 2 outs. 6-6 against a righty, and struck him out. Brett Myers, strong first inning, and we are underway in Florida. No score through 1. Ryan Howard at the plate, cleanup hitter, stuck at 49 home runs. Burrell behind him with 41. Actually, he's about 9 ahead of his total in real life. 1-5. That is a 1-3 double against a righty. But 16, that'll be a fly ball to left. Takes it the other way, and it'll be caught by Luis Gonzalez for 1 out. Burrell against a righty, 6'4 catcher X. John Baker, a 3 and a 12. That's going to be a foul out unless his E3 catches an error, and it shouldn't. So that will be a foul out for out number 2. And Victorino, 4-9, batting from the left. That will be the first hit for the Phillies, first hit of the game altogether. A 1, a double, the rest singles, and that's a single for Victorino. Baker +1, Johnson -1, so together they are a 0 hold for a stolen base guy. So if Victorino gets a good lead here, it'd be a 1 to 16 chance at a stolen base. And he gets a 5, he will have to go 1 to 16. And he barely sneaks in under the tag. So Dobbs will try and complete this at bat with Victorino at second. 2 outs. 3-9, and he'll strike out to end the inning. So 1 hit. But that runner is left on base, and we will go to the bottom of the second. 0 so far here on an overcast day here in South Florida, and a Mike Jacobs against Myers. Against a lefty 4-4. Grounder to Dobbs, 4E13. 4 and 16, he will get to it, and the E13 and an 8. We'll double check that part of it. And he is able to throw it over in time for out number 1. Dan Ugla. And a 3-9. This is hit well. This is hit deep, and this is going to stay. It hits off the top of the wall. Comes back into play. Center fielder Victorino gets it in time to keep Dan Ugla to a double. And Ugla, not much of a stolen base threat for... Well, they're not holding him on. It would be a 1 to 9 if he gets a good lead. Of course, then he would get thrown out if he hits a 10. So let's just swing away here with Lugo. 6-6 against the lefty. Strikes him out, so 2 outs now. That brings up Cody Ross. Tempted to put him on, but let's go ahead and let him swing away. 6-9 against a righty. Grounder to Rollins. They're not holding Ugla. 1E8. Gets to it. Does he make the throw? In time. So a double with 1 out for the Marlins goes to waste, and we'll go to the third with no score. 0's up there on the board. Phillies in the trying to hold on, give themselves a chance at a lead going into game 2 of this series. As far as in the division, Chris Coast, that is a 2-8, and he will hit it on the ground sharply. Right at Amazaga, throws to first, and plenty of time there. So hitting card number 1 for Myers with 1 out. And he will strike out on the 5-5. No surprise there. Out number 2, that is 4 for Josh Johnson. And strikeouts, that is. Jimmy Rollins. Lefty, 6-11. Ballpark single, 1-5. Liner caught by Ugla. So another pitcher's duel. We had one of those last game. Phillies did prevail in that. 3-2 the final there. Up there in Atlanta, gave the Phillies a share of the lead. So Amazaga leading off here in the third. Batting from the left side, 4-5 struck him out. So far, so good for Myers. Here is Johnson with pitchers hitting card number 2. 6-5 batting from the left side, and another strikeout. Myers having the rolls come his way so far. Cameron Maben with 2 outs. Another 6-5 against a righty. That's a grounder to short. And Rollins will throw to first. And Phillies will take that from Brett Myers after some of the starts he's had. We're through 3, no score. We're going to go to Utley leading off the 4th. Batter number 2 in the order. Against Johnson, that's a 2-6, 1-8 single chance. And it's a 9. That'll be a grounder to Jacobs. And Jacobs will run it to the bag in time. Jason Worth, 6-10 against a righty. That'll be Maben being tested out there in center field. 2-1 though, so 2 and a 5. I think he'll get to that one. Yes. And then the E1, and he makes the play. So, in contrast, if that were Cody Ross, who was their center fielder for a while, I think that would have been a hit. So, would have been a single. So, Ryan Howard with 2 outs. And a 3-6. Well, he'll draw a 2-out walk and potentially give some fodder here for Pat Burrell to try to bring home. 2 outs. And a potential passed ball. Baker needs a 1, only a 1 on this, and that's a 2, so no passed ball there. So Burrell at the plate. 4-5 against a righty. Grounder to short. Amizaga 3-7. Not holding Howard on. 3-4, and I think that is going to be a single, yes. So the inning will continue, and let's see any errors. I don't think that will be for an E7, but that will be a single for Burrell. It just gets out of the reach of Amizaga. And that'll bring up Shane Victorino with 2 outs. Can he come through with a big hit here? Five, 6, batting from the left, and that's a strikeout. So if only Victorino could have flip-flopped where his single was in the 2 innings, Phillies would have the lead here, but instead we're going to go to the bottom of the 4th. And it will be Baker, Cantu, and Jacobs. Dangerous hitters here for the Marlins. Lefty 5-10, catcher X. Take that, a 4 and a 10. Pop up, E5 and 13. Makes the play. Cantu. 6-10 against a righty. Grounder to Rollins. 1-E8, 1 and 2. He does get there. 1 is about the only one who would do that. A 2, I think that's a single, but he's a 1, so that will be a 6-3. Makes the play for the 2nd out, and here is Mike Jacobs. Got to avoid that 1 column. Avoid the 1 column. And a 2-7 strikes him out, so there you go. 14-8 in real life. We are scoreless here through 4 in Miami. So the lower 3rd of the order for the Phillies, it'll be Dobbs, Coast, and Myers. Dobbs up first, 3-6. And that will be a single, so he will lead off and get on base. That brings up Coast. We're going to say that they're holding... we're going to say they're not going to hold Dobbs on. Let's see if he can get a good lead. 12, no such luck. So, no sense in him stealing. So, Coast, we could try to bunt with him, but let's go ahead and swing away with a pitcher spot coming up. 5'9" righty strikes him out. Brings up Brett Myers, who is an inadequate bunter of the ball. Still will try. See, he'll be a D since they're expecting it. D6, that's a defense roll. So that will be Dobbs' running range -4. That makes him 8. And then the fielder is a 4, which means it's first baseman. Jacobs is 5. 1 to 13. They're going to let the sack be in play, and they will let Dobbs get to second base. Take their instead of potentially giving up a big inning here. Try and focus on getting Rollins out with Dobbs in scoring position, 2 away. Calculated risk. 6-5 against a lefty strikes him out, and still no score. 3 hits for the Phillies, only 1 for Florida so far. And you just have to wonder if these chances for the Phillies are going to come back to bite them eventually. Dan Ugla. For 6 righty, that is a single. And they're not holding him on. Ugla will try to get a lead here this time. 2 through 5. There's 5, so it's 13 plus 4 is 1 to 17. And he is able to steal second, as they weren't holding him. They're still not going to hold him. So Luis Gonzalez continues his at-bat. 2-11. Ballpark single, 1 to 5. Make it first and third if it's 1 to 5. And it's a 3, so Myers finally running into some trouble here. And it'll be Cody Ross with first and third. They'll play with the infield. They're going to play with the corners in. They want to come home with it if they can. So Ross, 4-5 righty. That is a walk, and the bases are loaded. For Alfredo Amizaga. Now they are playing with the infield in. They want to try and cut things off at the plate. Low-scoring game. 2-6. And that is that's a single. That's going to score 2. Playing with the infield in there. Right there, the A, but the plus does them in. And that's going to be first and third now. It's 2-0 Marlins. And the pitcher spot comes up. Johnson. So they're going to play with the infield still in here for Johnson. He will swing away. 1-6 strikes out. So that's 1 out. Now Cameron Maben. So Myers getting roughed up a little bit here. Not anything hit too hard, but everything just... So 4-8 against a righty. And there is a double. Boy, he get one off the pitcher's card against this Maben card, but then it's right at the double. And that will score Ross. Amizaga, they'll send him no throw. Maben, they'll make sure he stays at second. And that's 2 RBIs for Maben. And that is going to be it for Myers. So he doesn't even get out of the 5th here. Which, that mirrors real life. So, let's see. Well, they'll start with Rudy Cienez. So Myers doesn't get the job done. And word's coming in that Atlanta is actually losing to the Mets, and that one's almost to go final. And so Phillies may be blowing a prime opportunity to take a 1-game lead in this. So Cianez coming in to try and stop the bleeding. Maben with 1 out, he'll try to get a lead and steal third here with not very good. Gets a 6, and guess what? That's what he needs for the good lead. 13 and 5, 1 to 18. And well, they are being 1 to 18, but they are holding him on. So subtract 4, 1 to 14, chance to go to third, and he is in there. So if Baker can hit a fly ball B, that'll be another run. They're going to play with the infield in here again. 2-11, ballpark single. 1 to 5, and it's 18. That'll be a liner to short. Hard shot right at him. And I want to double check. Make sure that ballpark singles are not turned to infield in. I don't see any rule that says that that's going to be a problem. So that's the second out. Now they can play with the infield back, but Cantu at the plate. 4-0 Marlins, and Cantu with Maben at third. 1-4 grounded to third base, and Dobbs throws to first. Howard in time, but the Florida Marlins keep their hopes alive here in the playoffs by putting a 4 spot on the Phillies in the 5th inning. And the Phillies will come up with Utley leading off the inning. 4-9, and that's going to be a potential double. Only a 1 will get that. Single for Utley, that's a start. With Worth up, he will try to get a lead. Needs a 5 to get that. Nope. Got a total of 10. So Jason Worth. 1-9 strikes out. Ryan Howard. Can he hit home run number 50 here and cut the lead in half? That would be great. 1-6 would do that. 4-5, that will be a grounder to short. Could be 2. Amizaga, they're holding on Utley, and so Amizaga turns into a 4-7, and he's being held. That's going to be a single. That's going to be a single with 1 base advance at least, and a 5. Oh no, that might not be good. Single with a 5. Single 1, rare play. Runner on first, bat has a line drive, hits the runner. Runner on first called out. Batter goes for this. Oh, man. Hits the runner. Out number 2, and Howard takes first. So Burrell at the plate. Bad luck so far for the Phillies. Johnson doesn't have a balk rating. 2 outs. 5-4 righty. Grounded to third. Cantu 4E27. They got a break there with the 27 and 11. Let's check that. No error. They got a break with the single with Amizaga, but the rare play roll bites him in the rear end. And so no runs, 2 hits, and only 1 left as freak play. The Phillies will have to go to their bullpen. Then use Pedro Feliz. You know what? No, we're not. We're not going to do a double switch. We're just going to go straight to Walrond, who is used in real life. We'll let him take a lump or two here. If necessary. Not a great card. Bottom of the 6th, Walrond in to face Jacobs. Against a lefty, 6-2, draws a walk. Dan Ugla. How about a double play ball, Danny? 1-5, another walk. Brings up Luis Gonzalez. Wait, 1-5. Yeah, that is another walk. Lefty-lefty matchup. 2-4, grounder to short. They will take that. To Utley for 1. Rollins to Utley over to Howard. And Jacobs will move to third, but that's 2 outs on a nice double play turned by Utley. Cody Ross now at 2 outs. For 7 righty, and that's going to score another run. 1-16 double, and that's going to be a double. And I put a line down here when I didn't want to. RBI for Ross, 5-0. Amizaga now with Ross at second, 2 outs. 6-10 lefty, grounder to third base. X should have brought Felice in. 4-13. 4-11. He'll get to it. They're not holding on the runner. Then the E13 and the 12 is he will make the play. So they kept it to a run. Going to the 7th, this probably will be Josh Johnson's last inning. Gave up 2 hits in the 6th, but got a break when the ball hit Utley on the base paths, and that was an extra out that came in real handy for him. Here's Victorino batting from the left, and that's a ground ball to first, and Jacobs has to hurry, but makes the play. Greg Dobbs, lefty 4-4, grounder to short. Amizaga 3, E7. 3-3, that will be a single. They will use We're going to use Greg Golson here on the base paths. I think they have intentions of bringing in Felice as a pinch hitter for what is this, the 7th inning. So Golson in. He'll try to get a lead here. Needs a 3 total. And a potential balk. So he can't get the lead. They are holding him on, so he's not going to try stealing. Chris Coast, 6-11 against a righty. Ballpark home run, and Coast has normal power. It's only 1-4. Not a great chance. Is it deep enough? Nope. Fly ball to left, be caught, and now the pitcher spot. They're going to call on Pedro Felice. So Johnson, this probably will be his last batter if he can get him out. 2 down, runner at first. 2-5, that's a fly ball to left, and a great outing there for Josh Johnson. Shutout. He scattered a bunch of singles. I don't think they got past second base at all off of him. And let's see. So no more Golson. Dobbs will come out. Phillies will play third base, and it's going to be, let's see. Hold on here. So I didn't realize, but that's weird. It's weird that they don't have Kendrick listed with a relief rating, but he pitched relief in this game. Well, we will, but he only pitched one inning, so let's hold off with that. Let's go and see if we can find. Let's bring in, who's up? It's going to be Johnson. They're going to pinch hit for him. They're going to wait to see who the Phillies bring out to. And they got Maben a righty, then Baker a lefty, then Cantu a righty. So righty, righty, righty. Who pitched last game? Only Lidge. It's going to be Chad Durbin. And so Florida will look to their bench. And they'll have Jeremy Hermida come in. And I mean, I should be going with their order. But, oh, you know what? Maybe we will. Is Sanchez a lefty? Yeah, we'll use Sanchez. All right, so we'll just do a little, try to follow along. It's 5-0, and it's a little bit out of hand. We'll go with Sanchez, Gabby Sanchez. Righty against righty, but against righties, Sanchez is pretty good. So Durbin 6-11 against a right-hander, fly ball to left, and he gets Sanchez out. I think Sanchez will not play in this game. They'll just go ahead and not play the field. Maben 3-7, and that's a single. Needs a 6 for another lead. They'll try to get it. 7, no lead there. Of course, he has the 13 second number, but Durbin, yeah, they're not going to do that. So Baker at the plate, runner at first. 3-7 fly ball to center field, caught by Victorino, out number 2. And then 13 minus 4 is 9. 1-8. Maben's antsy, 1-8. He's going to try to steal here. And he makes it. Gets a 5 on the 1-8. So Cantu with a chance for a single to score. Maben, 4-5, righty, struck him out. So Durbin pulls it together. And let's see. We will go to the 8th. We have a 5-0 lead for the Marlins. Things are looking a little rough there for the Fighting Phils. In comes Mark Hendrickson for Florida. We'll face the top of the order. Lefty in here to face mostly Utley and Howard. So Rollins leads it off here. 3-5. That's a grounder to Ugla. Over to Jacobs for out number 1. Chase Utley. 1-5 strikes out against the lefty. That's going to bring up Jason Worth. and a fly ball to center field, and a 1-2-3 inning for Hendrickson. So Phillies going quietly in this night, and it's going to mean they're going to stick with Durbin here in the bottom of the 8th, and it will be Mike Jacobs to lead off against him. 3-5 strikes out. Ugla. 2-11, a grounder to shortstop, and Rollins throws over to first for out number 2, Luis Gonzalez. 3-8, and he'll draw a walk. He'll try to steal here. Needs a 7. Gets it. So 13 minus 2. Well, they're not holding them on. So 13, and it's gonna be a 1-13 chance to take a second, and he makes it. So old man Lugo getting on the base paths a little bit. Just Cody Ross with 2 outs. 3-7 strikes him out. So Durbin faces 8 and gives up no runs. It's going to give the Phillies a chance here in the 9th. And the Marlins, they're going to bring in Wes Helms as a defensive replacement at third. So he will... Let's see, they're going to bring in Joe Nelson as just the guy to bring him. So what they're going to do is they're going to put him in Jacob's spot. And so Cantu will go to first base. And then Helms will take the pitcher spot. So maybe a little over managing here, but it's something that I have a penchant for doing. They've got a lead, so 5-run lead going into the bottom of the 9th, or the top of the 9th. All they have to do is close it out here. So Howard against Nelson. They could have left Hendrickson in for Nelson, or for Howard, but let's see what Howard does here against Nelson. 3-4, a 1-8 single. But that'll be a grounder to, that'll be Cantu, and he will underhand it to Nelson covering for out number 1, Pat the Bat. 1 for 3 in this game. Has quieted down with his home runs, 3-9. That will be a strikeout, and that brings up Shane Victorino. Final chance here for the Phillies to try and put something on the board. And a 6-3 against a lefty. Fly ball to left. Out there is Lugo, 4-E9. 4-16, he gets to it, E9 and 8. I think that will be the ball game, folks. And it is. So that is it here from Florida. 0s for the Phillies. The Braves lose to the Mets, so they remain tied. Florida gains a game on them both. They will be 2.5 back. So nothing salted away yet for the Phillies. It's been a real challenging season here for them. They've had to claw their way back, and still they're my cards over. So the Florida Marlins, always a tough opponent for the Phils. Let's see, 1, 2, both had a flawless ending of work to close it out. Brett Myers gave up only one hit through 4 innings, and then in the fifth, it all came apart. He gave up a single to Ugla. Ugla was able to take second base on a stolen base. And then Luis Gonzalez singled to move him along. Then a walk to Ross, loaded the bases with nobody out, and they played with the infield in, wanted to gamble to try to keep it a close game. And the ball shot through between the fielders right up the middle. Pitcher couldn't get it. Myers, Rollins couldn't get it. Just seeing eye single that if it would have been a double play ball had they been playing back, but the 1-0 wouldn't have been enough either. So after that, Johnson struck out, and then Cameron Maben came through with a double off the pitcher's card. His hitter's card is good, but he got an extra roll there that helped him. So that was a 2 RBI. So 2 RBIs for Amizaga, 2 RBIs for Maben, the young guys coming through. And then in the sixth, a double for Cody Ross after Les Walrand walked a couple guys, brought home Jacobs, and that's the scoring for this game. And no saves. So 8 games left, still tied. Florida's sneaking around back there. I think Florida is actually the one you might have to watch out for. Braves are, you've got the Braves at home. You're going to bring them into Citizens Bank Park. I think they are clearly they're a weaker team because they were a weaker team in real life. They haven't acted that way for a while, but you should have the advantage over them. Might depend on the pitching matchups, but Florida here, they are a sneaky team, and I forget what I was saying there. I should have written down what I thought, but I thought 2 of 3 against Atlanta in Atlanta would be good. I thought 2 of 3 against Florida in Florida, so now we've got to win the next 2. And let's take a look at how game 2 shook out in real life. Phillies win 3-2, so it's a tight game. And that's a tough one. It's Blanton on the mound for the Phils, and Sanchez for the Marlins. Sanchez 2-5, 5.57 ERA on his card, so he's not infallible. But you just never know with this. And then game 3, Phillies win that one too. So they've got to duplicate what they did here in real life. They've got to duplicate it in this. They need the next 2, and maybe hope Atlanta flubs one against the Mets. Then they get a game lead. Then they bring Atlanta in there. If they can win 2 out of those 3, that would give them the 2-game lead heading into those final 3. Point if they had a 2-game lead with 3 to play, I think is that 4 the magic number? Magic number at the moment would be 3. I have the calculation somewhere. I have it somewhere stored up in here. It's tough to bring up when you're on camera. So but at the moment, Phillies and Braves tied, and thanks for hanging in here and watching this game. Once it gets done uploading, I think I will just go ahead and release it to the masses. Thanks for watching it. Can't win them all. Tried some strategy with playing the infield in. I don't think it hurt the Phillies doing that because they didn't get a run. If they had gotten a run, then I might have thought that they gave up an opportunity. Or 2 runs, they would have given up an opportunity maybe to give up 1 and get out of the inning there in that big 5th. So stay tuned. We're gonna try to crank through this. I'd like to crank through it this weekend. So this is a Thursday night. I'm recording it. We got Friday. It'd be nice to get a game or 2 in then. Get a game or 2 in Saturday. Game or 2 Sunday. It's always tough. So this weekend might not be done, but we got 8 left, and so I guess by mid next week maybe we'll have her cranked out here. So tired. Been a long day. So good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Support our friends at the other channels that are around. I think the other night I forgot to mention Bleacher Bums Gaming. That's another channel to add to your list of baseball demos, Strat Delaware. You got all those guys that are rolling games regularly. If you could patronize their, or is it patronize or patronize? If you could go and watch their videos, how about that? That would be awesome. I'm sure they would appreciate it, and we would too, because we're trying to grow a community here. Obviously, this weekend, I think it's this weekend. No, it's not this weekend. I think it's next week is the APBA tournament out there with Tabletop Earls. So anyway, I'm going to sign off. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking the video. If you could share with any Stratomatic, APBA, payoff pitch friends you have, that would be awesome too. Anybody who's into gaming, tabletop gaming, computer gaming, you never know. Somebody into computer games might say, hey, I like this. So good night, everybody. God bless. And thanks for watching. Phillies still tied with them pesky Braves, and the Marlins, got to put them in the dust here in these next 2 games. Thanks a lot, and God bless.